As President of Nigeria, Kashim Shettima, is reacting to the bomb explosion that claimed about 5 lives and left several others injured at a mosque in Gamburu Market, Maiduguri, Borno State, describing the attack as a despicable assault on innocent citizens and the peace of the nation. In a statement by his senior special assistant on media and communications, Stanley Kocha, the vice president assures that the federal government is deploying additional tactical teams to the area to track down and apprehend those responsible for the terror attack. According to him, the federal government is working closely with state authorities and local security agencies to ensure the protection of vulnerable communities and critical infrastructure across the Northeast and other regions. He said President Bola Tinubu has ordered an immediate intensification of security operations in Borno State following the incident, while sympathizing with the government of Borno State, residents and families who have lost their loved ones in this attack. Meanwhile, Borno State Police Command has confirmed that 5 persons were killed and 35 others injured after the Christmas Eve bomb blast at Gamburu Market Mosque in Maiduguri. The Public Relations Officer, Nahum Dasso, revealed this to journalists at the specialist hospital in Maiduguri, where victims are being treated. The blast occurred at about 6 p.m. on Wednesday, at a time when faithful were gathered for prayers in the mosque. Eyewitnesses also narrated the ordeal.
Muna nan kasuwar kamar a rawar magariba an tada sallan farko na biyu sai muka ji abin ya amsa wanda inda gaba da hankali ya riga ya faɗi. Ubangiji Allah ya dafa mana, abin ya fi ƙarfin mu. Wallahi ban zo na shiga Mosin ba, amma dai na ji an ce mutane sun jikata, wayansu sun ji ciwo.
Sai dai Allah ya kiyaye kawai. Wallahi ba ƙarami ba wallahi. Ina cikin kasuwan na fito na alwala a nan, muna leburanci wajen muna alwala a nan kafin shiga abin ya faru. Shiga masallacin ne ma Allah ya kiyaye abin ya zo ya faru.
Joining me for more on this development is a CEO, PR24 and risk management expert, Onyekachi Adekoya. Mr. Adekoya, in recent time, the focus has been on Nigeria being tagged a country of particular concern by U.S. President Donald Trump. And, that matter has to do with what they tagged religious intolerance. But look at the incident in Gamburu in Maiduguri Wednesday night. The blast occurred at a mosque. I mean, so where does this put us as a nation regarding that issue that was raised by the U.S. president?
Good evening to the viewers and Merry Christmas, everyone. Unfortunately, Nigeria is in a state of war and we are suffering some form of asymmetric warfare. Recall that I did say that the singular move of Mr. President appointing the former Chief of Defense Staff as Minister of Defense signals that we're in a state of war and there is a need to surge capacity, surge equipment, surge response to address some of these issues. So clearly, it's not the first time. It doesn't speak many things of Nigeria. For example, Russia and Ukraine are at war. A lieutenant general in the Russian army in service was recently killed in a terrorist-style attack. So having an attack on a soft target at the peak of the festive period in a conjoined market at a mosque just shows that these are criminal groups, Islamic jihadists, though I don't think they're Islamic jihadists in the sense of being ideologically motivated. It's all form of one economic interest or the other. So you find these actors who always seek leverage to have mass casualty events in periods of festivity. So it just speaks to the time, really, and it's quite sad and unfortunate that despite our best efforts, despite the sacrifices of the men of the army, of the police, that unfortunately the law enforcement personnel that we have cannot dominate everywhere. So unfortunately, things like this will happen. There's also a claim that perhaps there's laxity because some form of normalcy has returned to Maiduguri. Business has continued as usual to a significant extent.
Yes, Mr.
Even
Adekoya,
nightlife has returned.
All right. If I may quickly, yes, if I may quickly come in there. This incident, it's been a while since we heard about, something of this nature. I'm talking about suicide attack. Yes, there might be, bombs thrown in some places to distract security personnel. But having someone wear a suicide vest and, approach a gathering like this, it's been some time since we heard it. So what do you think is responsible for this resurgence?
So I think that if you follow the current uptick in military engagement against these insurgents, of course, you'll have expected a response. That's on the one hand. So, of course, they're responding to the heat that is on them. Number two, sadly, there's some laxity. Our security culture, despite our experience with these incidents, is a bit lax. Person-borne IED is not new to Maiduguri. Time it was where certain areas would be cordoned off and then the security search, at least the security measures are heightened. What we have seen over the last 2 years is a relaxation of security measure on the assumption that, the threats have been brought down to as low as reasonably possible and then life can go on as usual, at least in a cautious way. So perhaps some laxity has set in. Perhaps it's a failure of intelligence. Perhaps it's just poor security management within the general area of the market, where I would have expected law enforcement who have been reading the times. We've seen an uptick in activity. There's intelligence report that some of these activities will happen. Somebody should have picked it up. So it's a multifaceted issue. I can't point to one single thing as to what has just happened because it's still an evolving case.
All right. Yes. I've been speaking with CEO PR24 and risk management expert Onyeka Adekoya. Thank you for your time on TVC News at 7.
Thank you for having me.